Just a simple thing. It's like, well, you willing to train, you willing to drill, you want to do those extra hours, you will be able to submit people that others can't. But if you go and start talking to your friend and doing all these things, like, I guarantee when you start rolling, I already know how you roll. Okay, so I don't mean to be so harsh with it, and I hope I didn't take it harsh, but drill, take your 3 inches of your time. I'm here like this. I pulled them up. I've landed. I'm like this. I've floated. I'm out. I'm isolating. I'm taking this leg out. And I'm going, damn, I'm about to lose this guy because he realized I'm going on a triangle and he's backing out on me. And I'm sitting here like this. I'm going, damn, if I throw this thing up now, I'll never catch this I'm not going to catch that artery on this ligament. There's no way. He's backing out too quick. So as I take this leg out, I actually push this shoulder. So as I push this shoulder, put your arm over there for me. This is exactly where he'll be. I push this shoulder, and as I push this shoulder, I rotate the far side leg over to hit an omoplata. I've never changed the position of this hand. So the whole time, this hand was always here. The only thing it's doing is sliding to the wrist line to pull it down because I need it in this hip socket later. So my first reaction at this point, I've done everything exactly the same. I'm trying to see if I can hold on to this arm and what the change is going to be. But I'm taking this leg out, and he's ripping out. And I'm sitting too far that I can't make a rotation over fast enough, and I'm losing the elbow line that I can't rotate it with my hands to face this way. So I'm like managing a bunch of things, but I'm trying my best to hold on to this arm before he gets away from me. So as I'm taking this leg out, he's backing up on me. So my first reaction is to kick this shoulder out. As I'm kicking this shoulder out, I'm throwing this in front. My next step at this point is rip your bottom leg out. He's going to run his hip line on you, or he's going to jump over backwards, or he's going to do the Renzo roll, and now you've lost him already. So my first reaction, when I kicked out the shoulder, I blocked the face. All I'm doing is replacing wedge points. I was here, I'm over here, now I'm replacing this guy, I'm ripping this guy out. I just kept putting these blockers in front of him, holding onto this arm. So you can see it's pretty simple. When I've cleared this in front of his face, my first reaction at this point is to rip my bottom leg out. My kneecaps have to face that way. Whether I transfer to a leg lock on that leg later, whether I come back into the fight with an omoplata, an arm bar, it doesn't matter. I still have to rip this leg out because I have to make a transfer to face the hips this way. I also don't want him running the hip line that I can't catch the hip line fast enough to throw him over because he's going to run this hip or he's going to backstep and jump on me, and now he's going to cross face me on this side. So my first reaction is to rip out and turn because now I'm facing him, okay? I am not a big believer in omoplatas and no gi at all. I'm just not. And gi, it's a little bit different because of the fabric climbs, but we're going to do it, okay? Because it doesn't happen very often for reasons, but it does happen that you attack this leg when he's trying to transfer to, when he's trying to protect this arm, you would go to this leg. That does happen a lot. The toe holds, I'm not a big believer in also. They're hard to finish now. So my first reaction at this point, we're going to go omoplata, okay? So my first reaction at this point, this hand's up. I know they'll go like this. They'll throw their leg up like, dude, this guy left you already by that time you do all that stuff. I'm sitting here like this, holding onto this elbow, and I'm throwing my hand over his back because in case Ethan does run his hip line at me, keep running. I want to be able to dump him, come up, and now be side control. So I want to anticipate it. So in case he's coming, I can't let him clear to the far side. So my far side arm's going to come and catch him or block him because I'm trying to get to that leg, right? I can sit up at this point, but my legs are still coming out because I have to break this hip down. I know they're going to teach you this in class. You're going to be sitting here like this, and you throw this leg. I really lost this elbow. His shoulder rolled through the bottom. Like, he had so many bad things. Like, he's already gotten away. Or it just went south on me. They're sitting on this side with a crossface. Jump on the other side. Jump, crossface. And now attacking a second ago, right? So understand why I'm doing what I'm doing at that particular time. So when you first kicked out that far side shoulder to transfer, understand the thing that you're managing is blocker after blocker after blocker. So if you're seeing from the first float, when I hit the float, I'm blocking, right? Because I don't know if he's coming back, but if he comes back, this is where this parent goes through on the clamp to throw him over. But I'm taking him out because he's big and strong, and I want an isolation on a quadrant. So that's why I'm hitting that move at that point. Now I take this leg out. So I've done everything right. Here, I floated him. I'm blocking, right? I'm blocking. I'm blocking. Whether I kick this leg out, right, or potentially, I showed you this the other day, that I took this in front and now turn this over, and now I drop it the other way. But we're going to do this particular one because triangle is what we were attacking at this point. So I went block, block. I started advancing my hand, trying to take this leg out. As I kick this shoulder out, I replace my blocker again. I take my leg out and I make this transfer. My hand's high. I'm going to ask you, be cooperative and do it. I'm just not a big believer on it, but let's practice it. Right? You're sitting here like this. Your first hand's up. Second hand, I'm touching these legs because I want to be able to make sure that it doesn't clear me with this leg. I also want to push this thing through so that I can move back, so that I can break the hip down. Once you break the hip down, I'm going to ask you, do not mule kick. I'm doing everything I can not to lose this elbow. So I don't want to open this up, throw this up and come up. You will lose this elbow every time. So I'm holding this elbow tight with a figure four. My hand comes up and I grab. My only goal at this point is just to put my elbow over that hip. At this point, he carries me totally. My legs retract back. If I can S-grip, now I can finish. Not a big believer in it, but it does transfer. That move actually works more where you end up reversing them most of the time. Because most people that end up in Omoplata roll the wrong way. So they're sitting here like this, right? And now they'll jump over the shoulder, jump. Right? And now you come up and now you're in the side control. If they were really inexperienced, you're going to take this arm back on them. But that's really an inexperienced player. Like, they're going to shoulder roll, and that's what you're going to see most of the time. So anticipate the two. You're not, in no-gi, the Omoplata is not, you don't really see it much. In gi, it's different because of the fabric coming up on the line, but with no-gi, it's different. You're going to anticipate two things. There's those reversals. They'll do that Renzo roll, but we won't go over that today. So you had either the jump back where you're catching, or he does that other one, come up. Either one, if you want to practice it coming up. Your partner's coming over two ways, come up. Let's practice it. One couple of things. This hand has to sit. Almost think of it almost like a Kimura. You're sitting like this. And I see some people, they're floating this out, and this arm's transferring to this hip. And then they're throwing this leg over. This isn't where I had it. It's on that hip, right? My progression was this. I had made a frame, I came down, I hiked it, and now, right, I'm here like this, throwing this over, but the hand is on the inside hip. His hand's on this hip, not this hip. He'll get out on you every time, okay? So make sure that hip. Number two is, try your best when you're making this transfer to have something that you're going to do over and over. The rest of it can go slow, but the leg coming out has to come out quickly. You can't sit here and take this leg like this and then just kind of come this leg just a little bit and then turn. Like, first of all, you're going to be, if you think about the leverage of the move, right? When I first came out like this, I sucked my hips out. That now it just looks like, okay, oh, I get it. He's going to attack the leg. No, man. This has to do about a simple engineering problem. He's going to go vertical on me in 2 seconds. And if I don't cantilever all my weight to this elbow line, I'm going to lose him because he's going to posture straight up on me. And now you just took this leg. Hey, let me have you back a second. You just take this leg out and you did this little turn like this. And Nathan stands up on you. And you go, what happened? Yeah, no, dude, because you're holding on, and Nathan's picking me up in the air. Go pick me up. And now he's like this, and you're going, oh, okay, that just went south. Yeah, I know, but you didn't do what I told you. Like, you got to take this leg out and go, that leg's coming all the way out. No, I'm sitting here like this, and I go, okay, I'm sitting here on this elbow, and I ask Nathan to pick me up now. I'm here. I'm like, can't leave it out. And I'm like, no. And if you go vertical now, because I'm facing this way, now this leg becomes the objective. Right? So I'm facing that way for a reason. I also want to face that way because I may take this arm, because now that becomes the same thing as a Troy bar. So let's 2 minutes and we'll rock. Let's go.